Has the term control freak made it onto your mom resume? Day-to-day parenting can bring out that tendency to tighten our grip on our kids. My next guest is here to help us shake it out. Studio 5 parenting contributor Heather Johnson is here with advice on how to become a low control parent. Strategies, she says, will help us stress less. And to that I say yes.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
say yes. I just pulled a Dr. Seuss there. That phrase just rhymed in flow. So as parents letting go of control, it can be scary. You know this, I know this. Why is this low control parenting such a positive thing?
Well, it's going to take away some stress, actually a lot of stress. But not just that, this is how we have happy, productive, responsible kids who grow up to be responsible adults.
There it is.
It really does. That's really what it does for us. So it's really important.
Let's get into some of these strategies. You say the first step to becoming a low control parent is considering the consequences of your control. We often don't think beyond the moment.
It's exactly right. And we let our emotions take over and we're right in the heat of it. And we'll talk about emotions in a minute. I would hope, though, that considering the consequences would actually be the only thing we would need to consider. Because if we recognize how damaging over-controlling our kids is, we would never, ever want to do it, right? Kids who are over-controlled can't make decisions, don't have their own opinions, can't share, have trouble communicating, deal with more anxiety, are far less active. I mean, we can go with the list. So I would hope that just the consequences alone would help us all go, okay, wait a second, I don't actually want to do that, so I won't.
But in order to see those consequences, we have to recognize the behavior in ourselves. Is there a litmus test there? If do high control parents know they're being controlling?
So the way we're going to do that, because I don't necessarily know if we know it in the moment, but at the same time we do, is if we'll look at the emotions that are driving the control.
Okay.
Right? So if we can take a step back, like you're saying, if we pull out that litmus test and say, what are the emotions driving this control? There's kind of two camps here. First, we become really controlling when we have fear. So anytime I'm afraid, even of a little thing, like I'm afraid, in all honesty, that our youngest child, when they run, when they're little, they're going to fall and smash their teeth.
Sure.
So I want to real quick be like, no, you hold my hand. Don't run down the hill. Slow down. Wait, stop.
Protect the teeth.
All the time, right? All the time. Yeah. And yet I've got to let her run down the hill. Like I've got to let her go. And so fear of something that actually hasn't even happened yet is one of the major reasons we control. The other one, which we're going to call selfishness, but it's real tricky to even hear the word, is when we feel overwhelmed or frustrated. And so this would happen, for example, when our 7-year-old wants to pour her own milk, and I'm like, no, I'll do it for you. Well, in all honesty, you know why I want to do it?
So you don't have to clean up the mess.
That's exactly right, because I don't want to clean up the mess. And so I want to control all the things all the time, so there's not more work on my plate, because there's already enough. And so when we become controlling for either of those reasons, that should make it very clear to us, we got to back up. We got to back off. We got to let them actually have the experiences that they need to have. So we got to look at our emotions.
Check the emotions.
Check them.
Ultimately, you talked about helping our children become those what's the word I'm looking for? Those competent adults, successful adults. And part of that is allowing them to be able to solve their own problem. And this really loops into this whole topic.
Yes, we have to teach them to solve their own problems. We have to teach them what to do, right? Here's how it works. Once we teach them, we don't have to be so fearful because we know they're empowered with the knowledge and then in turn the ability to do what it is they need to do. So, and this applies across the board, but for example, this would be teaching your kids to cross the street. Instead of constantly, nope, you have to hold my hand, nope, you can't go unless I'm here. Well, when they're small, of course, because they don't have the brain capacity to learn those skills. But once they can, we need to teach them, and then it's okay for me to be in the kitchen doing dishes and know that they know when to cross the street, when it's safe, when that decision is appropriate. So I don't have to have so much control because I know I've taught them the things that they need to learn.
Love that.
This is a big deal.
How do we calm our fears? How do we take our brain down from that worry cliff and allow this problem solving, for example, to happen?
So we're going to stop worrying really kind of in two ways if you need kind of tools to hang on to. The first is realizing, as crazy as this is, that we actually have no control over what our children choose. Yeah, it's like the lamest thing to ever realize.
No, it's true. It's true.
And it's the one thing we can't ever control. And this is till anyone's dead, forever. We can't control this. What we can control, though, is how we respond to their behavior. So if you want to know where to put control and energy and effort, put it into recognizing what our responses are to their behavior. That's what we should be worried about.
I like that.
That's where we should put our energy. The other thing that will help us stop worrying is if we stop constantly asking our kids, are you okay? Can you handle this? Are you going to be all right? Are you going to make it? Do you think you can do it? Because when we do that all the time, we're sending them a message. One, we don't believe in them, right? And two, it then triggers our own mind to go, well, you probably can't, so I better do it for you. Okay, well, I better jump back in. now we're controlling again.
So don't jump in to pour the milk. Don't do
Right.
things for them that they can do themselves.
Always let them do the things for themselves that they can do for themselves. And then if we've taught them to problem solve, then when our daughter spills the milk, she knows to grab the paper towel and wipe it up and throw it in the trash and put the milk away. And she learns to manage her own space while she has those experiences. And that's kind of the last part here, is that we have to let them have their own experiences. We have to. It's fairly selfish to say, so that I don't fear, so that I don't have more work, you don't get to have life experiences that help you become a responsible and happy adult. And so we got to give them that space all the time. I gotta leave it in their hands.
I see this playing out in so many different areas in my own life, and I know a lot of other mothers out there will appreciate this advice too. Heather, thank you. Heather has a private practice where she helps individuals, couples, families. If you want to connect with her, look for the information on the Studio 5 website.